I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about Kamaru Usman eliminates himself as an option for Shavkat Rakhmonov at UFC 310. When UFC welterweight champion Bilal, remember the name Muhammad, announced that he had withdrawn from his first title defense at UFC 310 because of a toe injury, a lot of UFC fans quickly came to the same conclusion. In hopes of keeping Shavkat Rakhmonov on the UFC 310 card, a replacement opponent would need to be found for what would likely be an interim UFC welterweight title fight. Okay, let's get straight to it. Kamaru Usman spoke about the fight during a recent episode of his Pound for Pound podcast alongside Henry Cejudo. Kamaru Usman said that fighting the undefeated Shavkat Rakhmonov is something that does greatly interest him, but without giving away any specific reason, Kamaru Usman said that stepping inside the octagon in just a few weeks doesn't look like it would be an option for him. Okay, so this is a quote. This is what Kamaru Usman said. To be honest, it's a fight versus Shavkat Rakhmonov that I've looked at, and it's definitely a very, very winnable fight. And I know that I can, of all people, go out there and expose what hasn't been exposed in a young, hungry, streaky, that's interesting, guy like Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat Rakhmonov is very talented. Shavkat Rakhmonov is very good, but I do see the holes, and I think that Kamaru Usman, can exploit that when the time is right. But December 7th, 2024 might be a little too early for that. I believe that's the entire article. Obviously, I can't play the clip because of YouTube copyright violations, but I will leave a link in the description. I do want to preface this by saying I am an MMA casual, so I just want to give a few thoughts about Kamaru Usman basically eliminating himself for an interim title fight versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. First of all, I don't think Shavkat Rakhmonov has been fully announced for that card yet, right? I would imagine after this weekend, UFC 309, I'm assuming, right, for the most part, that Dana White in New York City after the John Jones fight versus Stipe Miocic will announce the headliner of UFC 310 if Shavkat Rakhmonov is still going to remain on that card. You know, with this news, some people probably are going to assume that maybe Shavkat Rakhmonov doesn't remain on that card. Maybe Shavkat Rakhmonov waits for Bilal Muhammad to come back from that toe injury. So that's a possibility. I just want to say I'm kind of happy that it's not going to be Usman. I'm not hating Usman. I respect his legacy. I just didn't think someone on a 3-fight losing streak, literally, right, lost to, Usman was champion, got head kicked, knocked out by Leon Edwards, went to Leon Edwards' backyard in the UK, lost a 5-round unanimous decision. It wasn't even close. And then last October, I believe, Usman fought Hamza Chimaev, and he lost. Was that a split decision? Was it a majority decision? It was kind of a close fight. I got to give it to him. I thought I thought Hamza Chimaev did enough to win at least 2 rounds versus Usman, but I think some people had Usman winning 2 of the 3 rounds. So it may have been a split decision, may have been a majority decision. I don't know. It could have been a unanimous decision. Like I said, I'm a casual, so I can't specifically remember Usman versus Hamza Chimaev, but I thought Hamza Chimaev did enough to win at least 2 rounds versus Usman. So that's 3 losses in a row, right? I don't think anyone on a 3-fight losing streak should be getting another title fight. We've seen it so many times. Even this weekend, we're looking at, John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Like, listen, legacy this, legacy that. That's all cool, right? But, Stipe Miocic's last fight was 2, maybe 3 years ago, and he got knocked out, right? Like, very rarely does someone last fight you get knocked out cold. You wait 3 years and you get another title shot. It just seems like a bit much, right? It's the same thing with Usman. you're champion, you lose your belt, you get a rematch, that's cool, right? You lose the rematch, and then you get another fight, you lose that fight, and then somehow you go back to the title shot. Like, to me, that just doesn't make any sense. Obviously, now we have to think if Dana White does make an announcement as to who's going to be the final main event of the year at UFC 310. If Shavkat Rakhmonov stays on the card, what are our options? So we're going to go over here. We're going to go over to the UFC rankings and look at, okay, if it's not going to be Usman, who could it be, right? Bilal Muhammad is the undisputed champion. It's injured right now. Leon Edwards, right? I don't know. We haven't heard from Leon Edwards. I saw a tweet that the UFC put out saying, hey, the UFC is looking to go back to the UK in March of next year. And he put eyes on that tweet where there's a championship fight less than a month from now. Where are the eyes at for that? What's going on with Leon Edwards? But, okay, so I don't know what's going on with Leon Edwards. Kamaru Usman somehow is still ranked number 2. He's going to eliminate himself. You have Sean Brady. You have Jack Della Maddalena. Those two fighters are on winning streaks. I'm not going to even... Kobe Covington, I'm just going to say no. Kobe Covington lost last year to Leon Edwards. We haven't seen Kobe Covington since then. It makes no sense for Kobe Covington to get another title shot this year, and especially because that performance versus Leon Edwards, I mean, Donald Trump left the building. Kobe Covington lost a lot of fans, even his hardcore fans, right, last year with the performance versus Leon Edwards, so that shouldn't even be an option. Ian Machado Gary, I believe Ian Machado Gary is already been booked for, I think, the final event of this year versus Hakeem Buckley, right? I believe that those two are fighting. So, I would say you have 3 options right now. You have Leon Edwards. I don't know what's happening with him. You have Jack Della Maddalena, and you have Sean Brady. I know not the, most exciting names in the world, but you know what? That's kind of what this sport really is about. It's about building up fighters, Shavkat Rakhmonov. A lot of people didn't even know who Shavkat Rakhmonov was until the performance of last year versus Wonder Boy. And also, you got to think about it. Shavkat Rakhmonov hasn't fought in over a year. Kamaru Usman hasn't fought in over a year. Kobe Covington hasn't fought in over a year. Sean Brady won recently. Jack Della Maddalena won recently. So, in my opinion, those two probably top of the list. Like I said, I don't know what's happening with Leon Edwards, so I'm kind of assuming when he puts eyes on an event in March that he basically eliminated himself for an event in December. But yeah, like I said, I'm an MMA casual, so what the hell do I know? Let me know, who do you think should be the UFC interim title fight versus Shavkat Rakhmonov? Or, maybe you think Shavkat Rakhmonov should just get off the card, wait a few months, wait a few more weeks, and, just go for the fight versus Bilal Muhammad. We don't know how long Bilal Muhammad is going to be out for. It could be a few months, right? Or maybe Shavkat Rakhmonov thinks, I'll just wait for a Bilal Muhammad fight instead of taking, a quote-unquote risky interim title fight. But like I said, in my opinion, as an MMA casual, there are 3 pretty good options: Sean Brady, Jack Della Maddalena, and Leon Edwards that should be able to step on the card for December UFC 310. But let me know your opinion of this story. I am Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about UFC welterweight, UFC middleweight contender Kamaru Usman eliminates himself as an option for Shavkat Rakhmonov at UFC 310. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.